Paul Linzo, owner of Headwaters Seat Covers. Just got done designing the 2019 to 2021 Ram Laramie Crew Cab rear seat. This particular seat is what we call 40/60, so meaning 40% driver side, 40% smaller driver side, larger 60% passenger side. This particular model is a little bit unique in that it has a folding console, so not just an armrest, but it actually has a opening console lid on that, which we'll offer a cover for as well. Articulating headrests. Another thing that sets this aside from other Dodge seats is this one actually has a recline lever. So if you get into the truck and you want to have somebody in the back seat to recline, lift up on the lever, pull forward, and that seat reclines. We'll actually recline the seats to work on them. Gives us a little bit more room behind there. Now you will need two tools, not very complicated, but you will need just a Allen wrench and just a small butter knife. Now whatever you pick, just make sure it's nice and smooth. We're going to use this for tucking fabric around in here. So you want something nice and smooth that you're not going to be, abrasive or hurting anything on that. What I would do too is before I get to tucking on that, I just run this around, because sometimes that carpet can overlap a little bit. It makes it a little tougher to get it underneath there. But step one for installing the seat covers, we'll be removing the headrest on this particular model. Now this particular model, there's a couple of small hidden little buttons, and that's what we use this Allen wrench for. Okay, so as you'll see, there is a little plastic, kind of hidden plastic square. You'll see it more pronounced as I get it pushed in. You're going to push it in the square hole there. Now I'm going to lift it up, and I'm going to just hold it there. I have that released, and while keeping just gentle pressure up, I'm going to come over to the other side and poke it in this side. I think I didn't have this one released. There we go. It'll take a little finagling to get it up and out of there. And you'll notice too, they're really tight. So as I got going, it's coming up. I got to pull pretty substantially to get this thing to lift up. What you want to do is lift up equally, nice and easy. And a good way of doing that is just to get your hands underneath that and just ever so slightly move that up together. You can see that's going to hit the ceiling up there. You push the button, gives you the clearance there. And we can take that part and set it aside. Next step, we're going to talk about releasing the seat belts from the seat bottom. There's elastics that hold the actual female part of the seat belt to the seat. And you can see this one has already been released. But there's one here, and then you'll turn the seat up, then you'll see another one on top of the seat. And what we did is we released both. So you just simply release the seat belt through the top one, lift the seat up, will give you a little bit of a gap. You're going to push that down through, and then you'll release it through the bottom one as well. The driver's seat as well, or the passenger seat as well, has the same seat belt to hold the configuration. Our seat cover will have an elastic sewn onto it at the back edge of the seat cover, and then we're going to utilize the factory elastic up here to hold the upper part of that seat belt, so you'll still have full function of that. This is just a kneel pad. These things are really hard to kneel on. These Ram floor mats are really nice but not very comfortable, so if you do have something nice and flexible to kneel on, knee pads, something, it is the way to go. We'll first work on installing the driver top. So we've got the headrest released and prepped, and you'll get the seat cover rolled up. You'll have a bundle that'll say front for the front seat covers, and then you'll have a bundle that says rear. In the rear bundle, as you unfold the pieces, you'll notice on the inside right of each piece, we will have labeled what the part is. So you have a whole set of abbreviations that we will give you, but they're just real common sense. DT driver top, Driver bottom, DB. Passenger bottom, PB. Passenger top, PT. Console is going to be labeled C, and the lid is going to be labeled L. And like I said, as you open these covers up, you should see the labeling on the inside right. If you're not finding it right away, just kind of snoop around, look around a little bit, you'll find it. So once you've located that, what you want to do is just gently disconnect these Velcros. The long Velcros are going to go to the top, and you'll notice we have openings for each of the headrests. What you'll want to do is you first want to tuck the seat cover under the plastic for the headrests. Okay, that helps us position the seat. Then we'll just cap over each side. So we're just going to pull that seat cover over the top, and then I'm going to get on it and pull it until that fits in there real nicely. So we've got a nice fit on that. Pull that down that side. Likewise, I'm going to come around to this side, and I want to tuck that behind the seat, and then I want to pull that down a little bit and form that right to that corner nicely. Okay. Let me lift this console up, and next we're going to tuck the cover in. So as you can see, the cover is rounded here. The side of the cover that's to fit the round of the seat, so that has to all get tucked in, and do that really carefully. This plastic can be sharp. We're going to tuck that into the plastic. I want to tuck that back. Okay. Now I'm going to pull down on the top, snugging everything up nicely, and you can really remove a lot of the wrinkles as well by just sliding your hand down the backrest. Really helps tighten that cover up. And go to this side, carefully tuck that in, and I'll just pull down on that, pull around to the side. Everything's looking really good. So I'm keeping my hand in here to kind of keep tension on that. You want to keep that tension on there. That cover staying tight. We're going to tuck in these corner Velcros. And these corner Velcros are going to tuck in, and they're going to fasten to the loop Velcro that we've sewn on the sides of the covers. This side of the cover, this side also has that loop Velcro. So we're going to tuck these Velcros in. They're just simply going to go right around the corner and fasten up to that side Velcro. That's pretty much the first step. We want to fasten those so we make sure we position this cover correctly and get it in there straight. Some models or some customers will request opening of the child restraints as well. As you see the middle loops here, that is just for carrying small kids in car seats. So we'll ask you the question as you buy the seat cover, you know, do you carry little kids in car seats? You want those restraints opened up? We just simply make a small opening in the cover. And as you're installing that, you want to position that opening for the child restraints that we have here. Just with the openings you have, they should line up quite nicely. So, first thing I'll do is I'll attach this outside Velcro. So I've already reclined the seats, and when I reclined the seats, what that did is it pulled the side of the seat forward. It makes it easier for me to access this side. So I'm just going to carefully tuck this in. What also is going to help me doing this is if I lift that seat bottom up, it pulls away from the backrest. So it just gives you a little bit more room to work on it. You can lift that fully up. Come around to the bottom side. Then I could just pull that tight. You just want to form that around the bottom front corner of that seat. That one's a little bit hard to see, but you can see it forming right around the front corner of the seat there. So we'll take that outside Velcro. You know, you want to pull down. Don't pull down so hard on this cover. Oftentimes you can release that seat, it'll clobber in the head. But you just pull down, and I'm going to take this Velcro, put it right through. I'm going to carefully reach back behind here and get a hold of it. Put the seat down so you can see this loop Velcro, you can see this hook Velcro. I'm going to keep some tension on it, and I'm going to press it right to the seat and hold it there. Next, I'm going to take this loop Velcro and just push it right on top of that, connected. When you get done, the outside part of your seat should look just like this. It should be just nice and pretty and nice smooth transition, and everything looking good. Next we'll go over to the inside, and that's the same process. The easiest way to do this side is I'm going to come over here and I will fold the console down. That's just going to give me a little bit more room to work around behind. I'll actually get inside of the vehicle, and I'm going to reach for the Velcro. Carefully reach around the back side of the seat here. It's a lot of sharp metal, so watch out for that. The loop Velcro is right here. You can see with my pinky fingers right inside there. I've taken this Velcro. You're just going to pull it nice and tight, and you're going to press those two together, and I'll just take that Velcro, tuck it right up inside the cover there. That should be connected. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to route these long Velcros behind the seat, and they're going to connect to the loop Velcro sewn inside the front. There's a fuzzy loop Velcro we have sewn inside the cover, corresponding with each hook Velcro. They're right where they need to be, right into what we call the bolster. So when we'll connect that, that'll pull your seat covers in real nicely. The best way to feed these behind the seat is to fold this in half lengthwise with the sticky part of the hook facing in. Do this really carefully too. This is as sharp as a knife edge. It's really easy to cut yourself on these Velcros. That's why when I'm doing this, I keep my hands behind it instead of in front of it. Okay, so once you have it stuck together, this Velcro is going to be kind of like a ruler, nice and stiff. You're going to take this, and exactly where it's sewn on is where you need to slide that down behind the seat. Okay. I'll just slide that thing in until it disappears. Grab the other one. Get that from the back side, fold it in half. And right where it's sewn on. Now what I'll have to do is I'll have to come around from the back side here, or the underside of the seat, and kind of fish that stuff out again. Use caution so you don't get snagged up. Pretty easy. This one popped down, pretty easy to see. This is going to connect, remember, to that loop Velcro on the front edge. There's my other one. And you want to pull and make sure they're flat. So I'm going to pull down on it. Now you want to make sure you don't pull too hard, because you can actually dent the seat. You just want these to be snug. So I'm going to pull down, I'm going to press that to the seat, then I'm going to hold it with my left hand, then I'm going to grab the other part of that seat cover, the front edge, and kind of push it to the back of the vehicle and connect. Okay. I'm going to go for the inside one. I've kind of pulled it tight. I'm going to feel underneath for where that Velcro is. Hold it there. I'm going to pull that down and press that to it. The final step is we'll pull that down and see how the seat cover looks. It looks very good. So you shouldn't have any wrinkles. It should be nice and snug. What you may have to do, you may have to, retighten some things. So if it isn't quite as snug there, you may have to slide your hand down. Look here, I could get a little bit more out of that. So the way to do that is just like this. You slide your hand down the front of that. I'm sliding my hand down the outside. Gain a little of that slack. Then I'm going to come underneath the seat, disconnect it, and then just grab a little bit more and just push back a little bit more. Next we'll install the driver's seat bottom. Couple notable features again are the recline levers here, which helps you pull that thing away from the back of the cab. And the other thing down here that we make an opening for on the bottom side of that, and a lot of people don't even know what those are, they could just be gear hooks or grocery bag hooks. So they're very handy. You can really hook anything around them, so we make an opening for that. You'll notice we also make a generous opening for the handle here, and that will tuck behind this plastic cowling neatly. And when you're doing that, be careful. Don't be prying up on this. Don't get too wild on the plastic. Good idea is just to kind of take a little pre-run around that. Make sure all the carpet is tucked in. You can kind of feel where the fasteners are. So there's a stud that's going in here. You can come around and you can feel there's another stud coming in here. The seat cover is just going to come into there, not even quite a half inch. A lot of tuckability on the top. The cover will go on with the 1x3 extending hook Velcro to the top side here. So what you want to do on the Velcro is turn that inside out so it doesn't catch as you're sliding it down. You want to just slide that down a little bit at a time. A little bit on the outside, a little bit on the inside. Get that really close. Next, before you pull it all the way down, we want to manipulate this seam around the round corners. So I'm going to pick at the material here, and I want the material so where this piece is sewed to this piece, there's what we call salvage on the inside of a seat cover, where you have, the two pieces sewn together. We want to force that salvage to go one way or the other. On this particular model, we force it to the inside, and that just gets a real nice contoured edge. Same thing on the back side. So you'll notice here, where the seam is actually pushed to the inside, it doesn't fit as well. So what we want to do is we want to get in here and we want to pick that seam up and work that material, and you just pull down a little bit on the back side. See how much more nicer that fits around the corner? So you want to manipulate your material. The salvage from the seam, you want to manipulate that to be towards the inside of the cover. Now there would be a couple of ways of doing this. You can, from right here, just go over this and call it good. You don't have to tuck behind the plastic. This particular model, I'm going to tuck. It gives it a cleaner appearance. It'll kind of help lock that front of that seat cover in as well. The way of doing that is you want to start on one side. Gently tucking that cover under the material using your butter knife, or if you have a fancier tuck tool, please do. So you notice that. So when you're pulling on this, be careful. If you get down in here and you pull on this thing, it'll clobber you. So I'm going to continue along here. And I'm going to pull this final corner down. Get that to start to go underneath there. There we go. Nice and easy. That's the ticket on this. Kind of massage that, manipulate that in. Alright, so I'm going to pull it down, see how that looks. Everything's looking good. So, what we'll want to do is we're trying to line up the seams of the seat cover to the seams that are on the seat. And right here, I can feel that the top seam of the cover is up here. And my seam is here, so what I'm going to do is I need to pull the cover back a little bit because I want that seam to line up. So I'll just grab it here. I'm going to pull back on it. I'm going to sweep with my hand. Get that front of that cover to roll back. There we go. That's much better. Next, we're going to just take and tuck that cover in. Nice and easy. Before it gets too lost, I want to find this elastic. This is the factory elastic that we're going to use to hold that top part of the seat belt. The other part is the elastic we have on the cover, so we'll put the seat belt through once we have the cover connected. So lift the cover up into the backrest. Going to reach in here, and I'm using my head right now to hold this seat up. if I didn't, it's likely I'd pull on this and it would just come down and clobber me. So I start on one side and work my way across. I'm going to pull the Velcro and connect to the carpet. I'll feel along the top side. Looks good. And to get a little bit more of it, you want to be careful you don't over tighten. You can get a better fit into the bolster. So I sweep my hand down one side, come around the underside, connect that Velcro. Sweep my hand down this one. This Velcro is placed right along the seam of that bolster. Pulls it in nicely. Connect that one. And here's our outside. Connects to this little strip. There. The grand finale will tuck in the front edge, or the top edge, of that grocery bag hook. We're going to connect here, and as I hold pressure, we'll just connect all the way across. Alright, move that seat up and down, make sure everything moves. We've got the seat cover pulled back far enough. Now we're going to show the connection of the seat belt. So we're going to grab that, grab seat belt, tuck him up into there, and watch your head. And you're just going to go pull that down as you're pushing that belt in here. Okay, that's going to hold that in, and then like I said earlier, we're going to utilize the factory seat belt elastic. And that's what's really going to help hold that seat belt up onto the surface of the seat. If your dog's the only one riding in the back seat, you can probably just tuck it underneath there. But so as you lift up and pull it down, the seat belt should stay on top of the seat, just like factory. Moving on to the passenger side, I've already removed the headrest, sat that aside. The passenger seat bottom installs identical to the driver's seat bottom, with the exception of the passenger seat bottom has a seat belt here and the same inside seat belt here. So you want to disconnect those. And also one thing I will do, just so it's easier to work on the back side, is I'm going to just recline the seat. So you just basically stick your hand back in here, lift up on that lever, pull that thing forward. Okay. And like the driver's side, you just have to disconnect the Velcro to get the seat cover ready for installation. It's kind of a pain. Sometimes they do get reconnected when you don't want them to. There is another set of Velcros to disconnect. That goes for underneath the console there. So Velcros, just like the driver's side, Velcros go to the top. And you'll want to move the seat belt out of the way, and I'm going to take the console and I'm going to fold that down. Seat cover goes inside the armrest, or inside the seat belt. There's no special openings needed for that. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cap over the inside part, and you'll notice an opening there. That is for the post that helps connect the console. So I'm going to position this inside. I'm going to give it a pull here. What we're trying to do is we're trying to line up the seams of the seat cover to the seams that are on your seat. I can pull this here and I go, not even close. So I want to pull that over, pull that over. They should match pretty closely. I'm going to get that kind of where we need it. I'm going to go ahead and bring us over this way. I'm going to go ahead and tuck the seat cover behind the plastic for the headrest as I'm working my way across. And then I'm going to just cap over on that side. Pull that down. Pull this down. Okay, get it tucked. Get just kind of the preliminary positioning. And once again, you're going to want to carefully tuck the seat cover in to the side of the seat. And again, you want to follow this seam, needs to follow the seam that's on your seat. So we're just going to tuck that in, get that to hold. Now we're going to connect the cover underneath, because as you notice, this is all one big piece. Faster top comes over and it's all connected over one piece, so is our seat cover. That's connected all in one piece. We have what I would call a small side cap. That's going to fit right next to there. So I'll just fold that down a little bit. I want to straighten the cover out as much as I can across the front of that. I just take this little end piece, and I use my fingers to curl on that cap and use those to just push that right in. And that'll just curl and unfold. Next, we're going to keep tucking this material. Basically, you're going to have to tuck this in along where this console is. This is going to tuck through to the back side, and these Velcros are going to come and connect behind the seat to make that connection. So what we'll do, and just bend that down, push that piece of material through. And I'm going to pull on this cover, get it to fit pretty good. I can see it's kind of binding up here because I don't have that position quite correctly. There we go. That just slid it right into position. Alright, so just like the driver's side, lift that seat up, tuck your Velcros down into the seat, and we can take these and tuck them down as well.
Like so. Then we'll come back here, lift up this flap right here, and then you should have access to your, so there's my flap coming in, and then I can feel my straps coming in as well. So there's my straps. And then they're going to attach this Velcro right here. So I'm simply just going to hold that up and then pull that down. And then same thing on the other side. Hold it up, pull this down nice and tight. And then just pop this guy back on like so. It's magnetized, so it makes it quite easy. I'll flip this up. Take a look, make sure I'm around this corner. Like I said, it's very easy to see on the two-tone what's your side and back, but if yours isn't two-tone, just make sure you follow that seam that's right there. So make sure that's gonna get nice and tight around the corner.
All right, seat's reclined. Do this side sitting down. We want to connect this up. I'll pull this back. This Velcro again is going to come around this side here. And I'm going to connect it to the outside part of the seat. Here. Nice and tight. There we go. Now we have one more to connect. That particular one, we got to connect, so I'm going to just tuck that back behind the seat and come around to this side, recline the console. So I look down here and lo and behold, there's my Velcro here. I want to sweep my hand down the front of the seat. So I want to get that as tight as I can. It just stuck to that Velcro we were just talking about. That's going to come up and connect right to the side of the seat here. Alright. lastly, just route the long Velcros behind the seat, same as you did the driver's top, exactly where they're sewn on, and connect to the front. Next, we'll install the headrest covers. So open those up. You'll see on the inside, you'll see a DH and a PH. DH, driver's headrest. You'll notice a little hole on the side there to accommodate the push button lever. So with that in mind, keep the hole to the side with the hole. The extending Velcros go to the front. I'll just kind of put this between my legs. And I'll just slide it on kind of just by seesawing it back and forth there. Now again, like the cover, we'll want to manipulate that material. I'm going to do that along the top edge to get a nice fit on that. And I'm just going to use my hands and kind of just slide that cover down on top of that. I'm going to want to get the material back there. There we go. I'm going to pull this outside down, and I'm going to tuck this cover just like the headrest. I'm going to tuck the seat cover under the push button plastic for that release. And if you have that set on there, everything should be just nice and tight, nice and snug. Lastly, we'll go ahead and tuck that Velcro underneath the back edge and connect. And then we can set that headrest aside. Next, we're going to install the console. Console piece will also have the labeling on the inside right. So to get the console going, I'll just go ahead and pull this release lever. We'll notice that there is an opening for that lever, for that strap to go. So what we'll do is we'll just cap this over. It has a little built-on headrest, so we have a little built-on headrest right onto the top of the console cover. Go ahead and fit that headrest on there. Should fit nice and snug. There we go. And next, what I want to do is I'm going to feed that strap through that opening, just so we don't push this console back and click it and then we have no way of opening it. So we're going to push that back, tuck that through, and I'll fold that down. Next, we're going to take the cover itself, and the cover itself is going to tuck neatly right underneath this plastic. So there's enough fabric here that that's just going to tuck right underneath. And we have our multi-purpose tucking tool, so used for buttering bread. Just gently tuck that in. Just keep in mind, this stuff is all plastic, so you use a little extra caution. Start a little bit on one side and tuck it in and move your way down a little bit. Should all tuck in there real nicely, and it should look nice and smooth. Everything should be in there fitting real nicely. I'm going to take and pull that side down. I'm going to come over this side and give this a pull down. That helps form these corners nice. Okay. Next, come around to this side. Tuck those sides in just a little bit to hold it, but I want to tuck in this front edge a little bit at a time. And kind of as I'm folding this down. So we're going to get the magnetic panel, move that thing off again. So we're going to actually use this magnetic panel for connecting the cover. Okay, here's the back side of the console. Is going to come on up. It's going to pull tight. It'll hook right to that back edge of that carpeted panel. Here we have left and right.
So you're gonna take this strap, feed it through here, and pull it back. As you're pulling this around the corner, I like to, before you really pull it tight, I just like to get that kind of in place, and I'll pull that tight, and it really tightens up that whole corner. And then back here, I'm just taking these two side straps that are coming from right here, and they're just gonna come and attach and place over each other like so. Place your back flap, check out up front if you're all good.
Next, we're going to work on the console lid. So what you want to do here is you want to just carefully open these pieces. And we're just going to leave it laying open if we can. You'll notice on the inside right of the back corner, you'll find the lid will be, the letter L will be on the back side. Once I have this thing completely opened up, the letter L goes to the back side of the console lid. I'm going to take it just like this and drop it right over the top of that console lid. That way your Velcros don't get stuck. And I'm just going to work my way around that one corner at a time. So the back corner, this corner. What I'll often do is use my body to kind of hold that thing into position. Use your arms and elbows to hold it on. It's going to be tight. There we go. And as soon as you get it, it's going to try to pop up on you. I'm going to hold that in position. I'm going to lift that thing up. Work that around this corner. We'll get all the Velcros pulled up. And in there. These little guys, these back corner ones, you're going to want to pull those right up into here. Alrighty. So, to connect the Velcros, we're going to pull tight on one side, hold it, connect. Come over to this side. Going to pull tight, connect. Pull tight in the ends to connect. So grab onto the end of that. Pull tight, connect. Pull tight, connect. There we go. Once you have that installed, that should be really nice and tight. Bounce a quarter on that. Push that down. You might notice there's just a little bit more resistance as you're pushing that console down. Give it a little extra shove, but it'll continue to work great for you and offer lots of protection.